You ever notice how some people don't end up alone? They choose it like it's a luxury upgrade? Like they'll cancel plans with the calm confidence of someone returning a sweater that doesn't fit. No guilt, no drama, just, I'm going to stay in tonight. And you can hear the relief, like finally taking your shoes off after a long day. Meanwhile, everyone else goes, "Are you okay?" As if being alone is a symptom. But for some people, alone time isn't loneliness. It's oxygen. It's where their mind stops performing, where the noise becomes usable, where they can feel like a real person again instead of a socially acceptable version of one. And here's the interesting part. Not everyone likes being alone for the same reason. I like my own company can mean 5 completely different psychological stories. So in this video, we're unpacking the hidden profiles of people who genuinely prefer solitude, what they're protecting, what they're building, and what their brain is doing differently when the door closes and the world goes quiet. By the end, you'll probably recognize yourself or finally understand someone you've been misreading. Let's start with type 1, the nervous system recharger. Picture someone leaving a social event that wasn't even bad. Good people, good conversation, and still, the moment they get home, they exhale like they've been holding their breath for 3 hours. Not sad, relieved. They don't hate people. Their nervous system just processes people as stimulus. Because every interaction, even pleasant ones, costs attention, tracking tone, faces, timing, when to talk, when to laugh, what to say next. For some brains, that's effortless. For others, it's work. Light work, but still work. So solitude isn't avoiding life. It's recovery. It's plugging your phone in at night. You're not ashamed your battery died. That's what batteries do. If you relate, ask yourself when you get alone time, do you feel lonely? Or do you feel your body soften, shoulders down, breathing slower, brain quieter? That's not antisocial. That's self-regulation. Type 2, the autonomy lover. This person likes being alone because alone means freedom, no negotiating, no compromising, no, what do you want to do? Conversations that somehow take 45 minutes. When they're alone, life gets direct. Eat at 4 p.m.? Done? Watch the same comfort show again? No one goes, again? Change your mind mid-plan? No committee meeting. Psychologically, this type has a strong need for agency. They feel most like themselves when their choices stick. In groups, even with people they like, their preferences get diluted. They adapt, they accommodate, they become flexible. And flexibility is beautiful until you're flexible all the time. Then you start craving a space where you don't have to bend. If that's you, solitude isn't emptiness. It's sovereignty. But here's the subtle question. Do you love being alone because you love your freedom? Or because you're tired of carrying other people's needs? Those are cousins, not twins. Type 3, the inner world builder. This is the person whose mind is loud, but not anxious loud. Creative loud, curious loud. The kind of mind that starts forming connections, ideas, stories, plans, the second it has room. For this type, being alone isn't boring, it's immersive, like opening a door into a private universe. You see it in small things. They can walk alone for an hour and come back calmer, like their brain reorganized itself. They can sit with a book, a hobby, a project, and disappear. Because solitude gives their attention one track. Psychologically, they're high in introspection. They gain energy from depth, not stimulation. Social life can feel like a beautiful surface experience, but their real satisfaction comes from going underneath, understanding things, building things, mastering things. If you relate, you might not dislike people, you just don't want to trade your inner life for constant social input. And honestly, that's a very reasonable trade refusal. Type 4, the social accuracy seeker. This person can be social. They just don't enjoy loose socializing. Small talk, vague conversations, being around people without a clear purpose. It feels like eating a meal that doesn't taste like anything. They don't hate talking, they hate pointless talking. So they'd rather be alone than sit in a room smiling through shallow conversation. They'd rather sit in silence than perform friendliness. And when they do choose company, they choose it carefully, 1 or 2 people. Deeper conversations, more honesty, less noise. Psychologically, they value precision and authenticity. They get drained when they have to manage impressions or pretend interest. Solitude is where they don't have to translate themselves into socially acceptable language every 5 minutes. If that's you, your preference for solitude might actually be a preference for meaningful connection, but only when it's real. Otherwise, you'd rather not. And then there's the twist profile, the safety-first solitude lover. This is where it gets tender. Some people love being alone because being with others has historically meant stress, judgment, criticism, feeling too much or not enough, walking on eggshells, being misunderstood, being asked to explain themselves. So solitude becomes a refuge, a place where no one can misread your tone, no one can interrupt your thoughts, no one can demand emotional labor. Alone means you're not being evaluated. It's not always dramatic trauma. Sometimes it's 1,000 small moments, mocked for your interests, feeling like the odd one, learning that socializing feels like a test you didn't study for. Over time, your brain makes a simple association. People, unpredictability, alone, control. If you relate, there's no shame in it. Your brain is trying to protect you. But it's worth gently asking, do you like being alone because it nourishes you or because it shields you? Because solitude can be both a home and a hiding place. And the difference matters. Here's a quick test. When you're alone, do you feel alive, curious, calm, connected to yourself? Or do you feel numb, safe, but smaller? Alive suggests healthy solitude. Numb suggests protective isolation. And most people move between these depending on the season of their life. Sometimes you need solitude to heal, sometimes to create, sometimes to hear yourself again. But humans are still wired for connection. Even the most solitude-loving person usually wants 1 or 2 safe people, not a crowd, not a calendar full of plans, just a few relationships where they don't have to perform. So if you love being alone, you're not broken, you're not hard, you're not automatically lonely. You might simply have a nervous system that needs quiet, a mind that needs space, a heart that prefers depth, or a history that taught you to be careful. Or maybe you just really like doing things without anyone asking you what you're doing, which is also valid. So which profile fits you? The nervous system recharger, the autonomy lover, the inner world builder, the social accuracy seeker, the safety first solitude lover. Or maybe it depends. Weekday you is one type, weekend you is another, and after one too many group chats, you become a full-time hermit for 48 hours. Again, understandable. How does this land for you? When you say, I like being alone, what do you actually mean? If you want, comment your version of the sentence. I like being alone because... Keep it honest, even if it's simple, especially if it's simple. And if you enjoy this kind of calm, curiosity-driven psychology, where we look at everyday behaviors without shaming them, you can subscribe. Not because you need more reasons to stay home, but because it's nice to feel understood, even if you still prefer your own company most of the time.